So I'm a liar. I said I wasn't gonna make any more content for Starfield, but that's a dang old lie. Been talking with a friend of mine about shipbuilding and how it works, and I was like, I could run him through how my ship is built. No. But, we can give that a try. This is... How do I rename? Here we go. The Horizon class ship. This Horizon started out, I think, many hours ago as the Frontier, and I just renamed it. So we're gonna break this bad boy down. Total cost for this is about 500,000, or at least that's the value of this ship. Most of these parts are Stroud-Eklund, is that right? The bridge is Hope Tech Commander 500. Oh god, how are we gonna break this apart? Engines are all Slayton Aerospace. Now I'll put it back together and cry as I do it wrong. Slayton Aerospace you can buy, I think, just about everywhere, but definitely at Stroud-Eklund. This spine that I have 3 particle cannons linked to is only at Deimos. These 2 cowlings that I have other particle cannons on are very inefficient in terms of mass to function, but I like how they look. Are only Nova Galactic, so these are only on Titan. I think you can also get them on New Atlantis, but let's just say Titan for simplicity's sake. These cowlings also on Titan. The Scan Jammer, I believe you can get on Parima 3 at the Red Mile, but also you can get it at the Crimson Fleet HQ before getting rid of it. The Comm Spike you can only get through the Crimson Fleet quest, as is the case with the Conduction Grid, only through the Crimson Fleet quest. The storage I'm using, oh lord, I'm assuming I got this at Hope Tech. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and assume that's where I got it. 30-ton hauler cargo hold from Sextant Systems. The top piece, this 3x1 engineering bay that I'm using, is Tayo Engineering. Just Tayo because it's rounded. Tayo pieces I believe you can get at Folai Alpha on Neon at the ship services, but definitely at Tayo Engineering in Ryujin Tower. This Nova cowling piece is also Nova Galactic. I use a Nova Galactic control station just because I like the interior aesthetic more. This cowling is Nova Galactic, that cowling is Nova Galactic. The M50 Ulysses HE3 tank, I think you can get just about anywhere, definitely at Hope Tech. The landing gear that I use here is the NG-20 landing gear, available at Nova Galactic. The grav drive that I'm running, I know you can get this as Stroud-Eklund. I'm assuming you can get this everywhere. It's the Apollo GV300, and the reactor is the SF-40 sheared flow reactor, which again, Stroud-Eklund. The shield is the Assurance SG-1800, which I think you can get at most major manufacturers. So let's, and the landing bay is an NG6 landing bay, Nova Galactic, so you can go to Titan or New Atlantis, I think, to pick this up. So to put this shit together, let's start out with, I guess, just the landing bay. We'll throw our grav drive on, throw a reactor on. Almost every build I have starts with the reactor and the grav drive. Now, from the landing bay, we need to get to our cockpit, so let's throw in a control station. I use a control station because I need crew stations to get all the crew that I want, and I don't like the larger bridges aesthetically, and also I hate all the NPCs stalking me. So then we slap on the Hope Tech bridge, and if you're building this from the ground up, and you know you can't get all these at the same place, get the cheapest available part just to hold you over until you get to the next station or next step in the plan. You do not need to go for the equivalent or an expensive piece in the meantime. Just go with whatever's cheapest until you can find what you actually want. Again, a lot of these parts are only available starting like level 60, so take your time. Take your time. Oh god. Where do we go from here? I'm going to stack on these hauler cargo pieces so that we can get our landing gear on. And now our engines I'm gonna attach to the reactor, so it doesn't really matter what version of these you use. I like having them stacked up in a 3x1 like this. Think it looks awful nice. Real pretty, real pretty. Now we'll get our engineering bay and slap this on top here. At the end of the engineering bay, we'll have the Deimos Slim Docker. We use Deimos because it has one mass for 3 hull, whereas a lot of others don't. Throw on the shield generator wherever you want on there. Okie dokie. We'll throw the Nova cowling back here. These cowlings have no mechanical effect, right? They just kind of look okay. They look kind of nice. Throw our HE3 helium tanks on here, or M50 Ulysses helium tanks. Then our Nova cowlings, bop, bop. Our other Nova cowlings, just to fill this in. I did that backwards. Just to fill this in a little bit. Then finally our Deimos spine, right there. And that's it. It's a relatively simple ship, despite how expensive it is. Now, in terms of weaponry, you can use whatever you want. I really like particle weapons, so for weapon group 0 here, we have particle PB0300 auto alpha beams, and in our secondary slot, PB300 alpha beams, because you can only use one of a type. The rationale behind the choices here. This is the best shield generator. That's the best reactor. That's the best grav drive. This landing bay is the most mass and hull efficient way to get to a second level. I don't like having the bridge on the ground level, and we need this to be 2 height in order to accommodate the grav drive and the reactor. And as this is 3 height, having the cockpit on the second level makes most sense. There, you can go with Taio's landing bay and a companionway or a storage space, and that looks okay. But I like how smooth the side view of this is. I kind of like that you can walk through here fairly easily. The weapon mounts are not super necessary. Right, I don't think I want any. Oh yeah, the Stroud-Eklund bays are god awful. There's a lot you can cut away here if you don't like having. If you find that you're running up against mass problems, I think the maximum mass for these engines is 1,564 mass. So we're right up at the limit here. If you find yourself wanting to make modifications and running against a mass problem, which is lowering your mobility, just get rid of these cowlings, and instead go for horizontal weapon mounts. They're way more efficient in terms of mass and not losing out on much mounts. But I just like having the fixed wing look here. As far as coloration goes, you know, you can always double click on everything, play with the sliders a little bit. I had for a long time been going with an all black look, but I like this grayed color a little bit more because it's a bit more realistic. Actual ships, spacecraft are often very white in appearance because this helps reflect solar radiation and heat, which is super necessary for keeping people alive. And that's really about it. I don't have much more to say on this. The storage choice, why I have like 2,000 instead of 6,000. this is really all that's necessary if you're not just stockpiling resources on your ship. If you are stockpiling resources on your ship, why? Why are you doing that? It's not necessary to upgrade all of your equipment. If you're trying to build an outpost, great. You don't need more than 2,000 mass to start building an outpost. You can put storage at outposts, and that should really be where you're stockpiling shit you don't need. Believe you me, I know the feeling. If you are really wanting more habs for roleplay reasons, say you want beds or bathrooms in your ship, any 3x1 will do up here. There's a 3-in-1. Is it? It's not Tayo, is it? Yeah, Stroud-Eklund has all-in-one 3x1 burst, so this fits there. Obviously, feel free to play around with different manufacturers if you like the aesthetics of your interior better, or you want to switch out the cockpit for something else. If you really hate my rationale of... Oh, right, we're at Stroud-Eklund, we're not at Deimos. You can fit the Deimos fat 8 crew capacity cockpit right here. If you really want to min-max, if you really want to cut things down, you want to lose these aesthetic pieces, you can make a cube out of this. You don't need more than 500 jump fuel. Honestly, 500 is even pushing it sometimes. To get from the 2 furthest systems on the map, it takes a little more than 500. If you have an outpost producing helium-3 anywhere along the way, not an issue. If you have astronomy, astrocartography, whatever the hell, Sarah buffs, if you have that in a capacity, 500 more than enough. Landing gear is we're actually using the second best piece here. The NG-20 has a mass of 4, a hull of 4, and a lander thrust of 4. If you're not familiar, the math comes out to you need 1 lander thrust per 200 mass, so we need about 8 thrust. The Hope landing gear that you get from Hope Shipyard is 3 mass to 4 thrust. I believe it's more efficient in terms of mass to thrust, but it attaches to the side. It doesn't like pieces attaching in front of it or next to it, so it really overcrowds things, and I was having trouble getting this kind of V shape with that piece. If I had them, they were often off to the side here and off to the side here. It looked kind of janky to me, so big pass on that. I don't think there's much else rationale to explain here. There are weapon mounts down below. There are 2 at the landing bay that you can see. So again, I've made some choices favoring aesthetics over functionality as far as our weapon mounts go. The 30-ton hauler cargo hold is one of the most efficient in terms of mass to cargo ratio. Let's see, let me flip over to that real quick. I use an actual notebook when I'm figuring this shit out. Yeah, the 30-ton has a 4.77 cargo to mass ratio. That is tied with the 100 CM, I think, which has 210 cargo per 44 mass. There's also a second piece that is 212 mass to 1,000 cargo that I don't have written down. 30 ton. Nope, that's what we're looking at. The Marco Polo 2030 is the other piece, but the Polo 2030, and I think it's only at HopeTech. I think I can't show you here. No, I can show you here. This only mounts to the bottom of something. So if we had it in here, why are you not mounting in here? Oh, because of this. Really? Is it you? Girl? Well, it doesn't work, for one. I don't know why it doesn't work, but also we need the vertical mount, downward facing mount on the 30-ton or a similar build like this for storage in order to mount our landing gear. And that's it, baby. That is it. I'm gonna cancel modification because I don't want all of the miscellaneous stuff moved back into storage. But that's how you build my little ship. The stats are maxed out. If you see a video out there going, this is the best ship, this is the fastest ship, this is the... I promise you, if you play around with the ship builder and you try and math out for yourself what the best parts are, you can make something just as good or better that fits the aesthetic that you want to go for. That's all we gotta say about that. So until later, I'm gonna say goodbye, toodaloo, take care, see you then, bye-bye.